right? And Steve, who probably wasn't as cool as he is now, he was a bit of a freak
in those days.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And it just covered him, and he just went like this. He went, "Well, now you've got to clear that up," which I found even funnier.
Yeah, but you did have to clear it up.
I did. But I was crying with laughter as I was clearing it up and taking it out of your keyboard.
Yeah, but I think I don't think I gave you enough of a reaction.
No.
Because you didn't really do stuff like that afterwards.
No.
I think you were looking for real annoyance. And this is the weird thing about this relationship, is that despite the fact he's, 10 years older than me, I was often for a long time the adult. I say for a long time, I think so. Often the adult
I think
in
it's
relationship.
I think that's what drove the dynamic. And also I was the laziest person in the world. I remember once when we were writing, and Steve said, "Look, we've got a lot of work to do." He said, "Don't have too many sausages at lunchtime," wasn't it? And I
actually fell asleep that day.
Yeah, because there was jumbo sausages in the BBC canteen. You meant to have one. I said, "I can handle two," and I had two. He said, "Don't eat two, Rick." And I did fall asleep, didn't I, when we were writing?
Yeah, he fell asleep under the table. I didn't realise he was asleep, and we were writing away, and part of the script, and I was reading out this bit that we'd written, and part of it involved someone knocking on the door. So I knocked on the table as I was reading it out, and he woke up thinking someone was coming in the office, banged his head on the side of the table.
Oh dear, just like Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
Someone actually asked earlier on the live chat, are you concerned that Carl Pilkington is going to become a bigger star stateside than you guys?
I want him to. I want him to be the biggest star in the world. I want him to be not just a star, but like an idol that people worship. Just little round things that is like like
they put on their dashboard.
Exactly, like Christianity uses a cross. It's just a little round orange sort of circle. Because I know he'll hate it. I just know he'll hate it.
Apart from Leonardo DiCaprio, was there anyone you wanted for extras that you didn't get? Anyone that you approached, told you to bugger off and shove it up your arse, says Jack Lovejoy?
There was only one person who said no, and that was Keith Harrison Orville.
Yes. Yes. And I think Sid Little, didn't he say no as well?
Oh yes, he did. Yeah, I think it was a bit too much for him. He thought. Yeah.
Was it after seeing a bit of the script that they were in?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I usually pitched it to him over the phone before we wrote it, and but no, he wasn't. He wasn't into it. Orville was up for it.
Oh, Orville would have been.
I don't know speak anymore over
that. Carol says, if you could pick the brain of any fictional character, who would you choose and why? Now, does that mean like that you could have the brain, or
Sherlock Holmes, or
what, and have it for yourself?
Information from
God, I think. We asked Carl a question. If God exists, what would you want him to say to you when you got to heaven? And Carl went, "Is that how it works?" Like, what do you mean? He said, "Well, he wouldn't be on the door, would he?" I went, "No. You go out to his office." And Carl said that he'd say to God, "Well done with the world and that, but I think you've put in too much water."
Hey, wow, this is a big question. What are the best things in life?
What are the best things in life? First thing I thought of there, sausages. But I'm off
I thought that might be the answer.
I don't know. A mother's tears, maybe a baby's laugh. Although Carl said that was the most frightening thing. When we asked him a question. We were doing the questions from inside the Actor studio. We said, "What sound do you hate?" And he went, "A baby laughing would do me head in." I went, "Why?" He said, "If I had a kid and Suzanne was out, and I'd put it to bed, and then I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of a baby laughing," he said it would freak me out. I think he's thinking of like Chucky, just sitting up going, unbelievable. The best things in life. Well,
they're free.
Freedom.
Well, no,
freedom is surely.
That's important.
Surely. In every aspect. Freedom of speech, freedom to live a good life the way you like it. As long as you don't hurt anyone, kids, and floss.
Yep.
We've got time for just a few more questions, so do keep your questions coming in thick and fast. A few people asked earlier, I don't know if there's any truth in this, Stephen, in a recent interview that you hinted at a secret crush for Nadine from Girls Aloud. Any truth in that?
I was being flippant. I'm a fan of all Girls Aloud.
Who is it?
Even the ginger one.
Yeah.
No, she's,
Well, don't say even. There's probably ginger.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, and including the ginger one. No, it's just I got very ginger beard, and lots. You want two ginger people get together. You can have ginger offspring, who might inevitably be bullied. So you've got to be careful. You've always got to think this thing through. You know, a girl's allowed is not just for one night, all right? They're for life.
You know, Carl said he thinks it's actually only in England where that happens.
I know,
in
it's
America,
weird,
they don't
isn't
get the jokes. Like, they quite rightly, they think, well, what's up? There's obviously nothing wrong with it. But Carl thinks that even ginger cats get bullied by other cats.
Why do you think it is that the ginger thing is?
I don't know. I thought it was. Isn't there a reference to the Bible or something?
Is there?
Wasn't
Judas was
wasn't
ginger?
Judas ginger?
No, wait till it's the
Wasn't he?
Middle East. They're not ginger people around there, are they?
Well, that's why he stood out like a sore thumb.
Clearly.
I have no idea why I said that. I don't know if that's true or not.
I wondered if it was something to do with the old Scottish-English rivalry. Obviously, all Scottish people are sort of, you know, ginger-haired. I wondered if that was anything to do with that. Maybe one of these MySpacers will let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you can. Someone asked earlier, Stephen, has Ricky let fame go to his head? Does he only hang out with A-listers these days?
People often say to me, has Ricky changed since he got famous? No, he was always a cunt. What advice, Rick, would you give to people who want to get into the business?
Don't. do something useful. Train to be a doctor or a lawyer.
When was the first moment that you thought, I'm famous? Because you were on the 11 o'clock show. That was the first time I saw you.
I was always worried about that. I was always worried about the word that didn't want to be lumped in with those people who do anything to be famous, just live their life like an open wound. Fame per se is nothing and largely pointless, and it usually only has detrimental effects, to be honest, you know. But I suppose I knew I was a face. I mean, the first time someone asks you your autograph, you think, oh, but that, you know, I think everyone's famous to that degree these days. I suppose winning the Golden Globes was the freakiest because that made the real news, not just the entertainment news. It was on front covers of. That was a bit weird, and I was glad I wasn't here when that happened. I was still in America. I was doing some work, but it you know, I think the important thing is know what you're doing it for. If you're doing it to chase fame, well, then you can do anything really. You can do horrendous things to be famous. There's no difference between fame and infamy if that's all you want. But I think you've got to love what you're doing. You've got to know why you're doing it, and we do it for the work and the creative process. And fame is an upshot of what we do. If you're an actor and you're a successful actor, then you're probably famous. But that shouldn't be the driving force. And I'm probably much prouder of being a writer and a director than I am an actor in many ways. But it all comes as a package, really. And joking aside, the advice would be. Try and control your own destiny. Own your own labour. Be in charge. Walk away if it's not right. Don't compromise. Don't think, if I compromise 1,000 times, then I'll get something I'm good at. Because those things stay with you and they stay around. They hang around. There's no rush either. Don't think you have to be famous by 23 or it's all over. You know, unless you're in a boy band, that's just simply not true. And find your own voice and do something you're passionate about. Don't do anything for the sake of it. Do something that you want to get off your chest. That's what I'd say. Steve, anything to add to that?
Well, I just want to ask you a question from Jensen's Beard. Have you ever thought about having a facelift?
No. I don't even like going to the doctors when I'm seriously ill. So the point of voluntarily going under the knife where you might die because your face is saggy, well, that's age, that's gravity. I mean, it's crazy. These people that have these things that have ribs out and, just unbelievable. Who cares?
Do you remember that story, which is obviously a myth, about Prince having ribs removed so he could suck his own? Yeah. Why are you looking sheepish? It's not something you're considering?
No, I'm just worried about you've just said.
Well, it's obviously nonsense.
That's good.
It's patently nonsense, isn't it?
Can he not suck his own?
Sure.
No, probably not.
Ribs are in the way.
You know what? Hobbob is on the Bobbler.
Oh, again.
He's on the chat and
Bob Meister!
he's clarifying the ginger issue. He's saying red hair was thought to be a mark of beastly sexual desire and moral degeneration.
From when, though?
I don't know, he doesn't really...
The 1980s?
Yeah! Since Mick Hucknall. When, though? That's what we're...
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. He doesn't really go any further than that. If you've got any more info for us, mate, do clarify it in the few minutes
Bob
we've got
Meister,
left.
sloppy